Nehru was greatly influenced by Tagore, the Indian poet whom I will also be speaking about tomorrow, who had a kind of vision of a pan-Asian vision. Came to Japan 4 times, visited China often. And Nehru thought that there could be a kind of pan-Asian bloc that would play an important role in foreign policy. That was his first idea. Incidentally, Nehru served as Prime Minister from August 1947 till May 1964, almost 17 years. And for these 17 years, he was concurrently Foreign Minister. And this may be the only example in the history of the world where the Prime Minister of a major country, where the Prime Minister is also the Foreign Minister for 17 years. So Indian foreign policy for 17 years was Nehru's completely. And just before he took office as Prime Minister, a month before Indian independence, he held what was called an Asian Relations Conference in Delhi, where there were 45 representatives of Asian countries, including Tibet. Tibet and China had different delegations sent to the Asian Relations Conference. And there was Vietnam, there was Indonesia, countries that were not yet independent, Japan. And here the idea of a kind of pan-Asian, that the future belonged to Asia. Asia working collectively, cooperatively and collectively. Now, that was Nehru's somewhat romantic vision of how it would turn out. Unlike Tagore, who was more closely aligned to Japan, Nehru was much more attracted to China. He had been close friends with Chiang Kai-shek. He saw China standing in the war against fascism and militarism. Of course, unlike Japan, India has borders along thousands of mile border with actual land borders with China. There's a history of exchange, of culture, of religion. Many of the great Buddhist texts composed in India were lost in India and only rediscovered in Tibet and China. Later, music, medicine, science, there had been these exchanges. And Nehru was very attracted by the idea of collaboration between India and China. Both very large countries, both ancient civilizations, but new nations, both with a history of overcoming European and, of course, in the Chinese case, also Japanese imperialism. So this was very much part of Nehru's vision. And pan-Asian solidarity premised centrally on India-China solidarity. There was a slogan common in the Nehru years which went, India, China, bhai bhai. That is, India, China are brothers. Now this rudely unraveled in the late 1950s when there was first a border conflict intensified by the fleeing of the Dalai Lama to India, giving him refuge, and finally resulting in a full-fledged war in 1962 when we were humiliated by the Chinese. And India, China, bhai bhai, as in India, China, brother, brother, became India, China, bye bye.